Welcome to Wondersleep. Uranus was discovered in 1781. It was the first planet to be discovered thousands of years after the 5 planets that are closer to us: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And the first human civilization that we know for a fact that had a planetary theory was the Babylonian culture. It's not surprising, given that the Babylonians knew about Pythagoras' theorem even before Pythagoras. The 5 closer planets had all been discovered with the naked eye, but with the invention of the telescope, William Herschel spotted Uranus. He had initially mistaken it for a comet, but the same man would also go on to discover infrared. 1781 is also the year that the ship Song set off from Ghana, voyaging to Jamaica. Navigational errors had left the crew short on water, and the unfortunate maritime law of general average meant that any lost cargo jettisoned to save the rest could be claimed back from the insurers. The cargo in question? African slaves. Over 130 slaves on the ship Song were thrown overboard by their British owners, insured for £30 per person. Sure enough, after landing, the ship owners filed for this compensation, which was denied by the insurers. When the information about this travesty reached public knowledge, outrage was modest at best, but gears were set in motion. Within the decade, a snowball effect meant that the sad massacre helped start a great revolution: Abolitionism. 200 years of progress after the Zong massacre, we celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day for the very first time.
I have a dream.
We also got the Oprah Winfrey Show, and that same year, 20-year-old Barack Obama was telling his roommate that one day he would become the first black USA president.
I have a dream today.
Around 200 years of progress since Herschel's telescopic discovery of Uranus, a spacecraft named Voyager 2 flew past the planet on our one and only visit to this featureless disk. The element uranium was named after the planet Uranus, and many elements are named after places in our solar system, including here on Earth. Uranium was the nuclear material used in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. What should have been a routine systems test in April of 1986, the same year that Voyager 2 flew past Uranus, turned into one of the most disastrous events in human history. A power surge in reactor number 4 triggered the staff to attempt an emergency shutdown, only to be met with an even larger power surge. Fire engulfed the power plant. Plumes of radioactive dust poured into the atmosphere. The ensuing radioactive fallout showered much of Europe for days and days. Poor response led to even more fatalities. Evacuation of nearby citizens was only commenced a day after the disaster began. An exclusion zone had been set up around the area to prevent human exposure to high levels of radiation. Reactor number 4, it was surrounded by steel and concrete in a structure known as the sarcophagus. This initial containment structure has been estimated to have confined 95% of the radioactive material, but there were problems, such as structural deterioration over time. The imperfect sarcophagus was later entombed itself within the new safe confinement to prevent further leakage. The peoples of this world hadn't seen such nuclear destruction since around 40 years beforehand. It is 8:15, Monday, a fine summer's morning. The Japanese people of Hiroshima walk the streets, going to work, laughing at a friend's joke, pondering their future, and living the last minute of their lives. Because uranium is also used as a fuel in nuclear weapons, like Little Boy, the nuclear bomb created by the Manhattan Project of the USA and dropped on Hiroshima on that August morning. It is estimated to have instantly killed 70,000 people. Through the resultant injuries, radiation, and illnesses, almost 250,000 men, women, and children perished. Here, the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, discusses the explosion of the first atomic bomb during the Trinity testing. During this clip, he references the Bhagavad Gita, the sacred Hindu text, and I think he sums it up better than anyone else ever could.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of